Good evening. I'll call this meeting of the Cartersville City Council to order. If you'll please stand for our invocation and pledge.
Good evening, everyone. Let us pray. Our Father which art in heaven, looking down upon us, Father, we ask for guidance, wisdom, clarity, and understanding as we go through the agenda and the discussions of city business. Father, we praise you, we lift you up, we bless your name. And we know that everything is done in this meeting tonight is done in the interest of the citizens of Cartersville, Georgia. Guide us, direct us, and lead us, and we'll be so grateful. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's take the roll, please.
Carrie Hodge, Ward 1. Here. Jay Stepp, Ward 2. Carrie Roth, Ward 3. Calvin Cooley, Ward 4.
Here.
Gary Fox, Ward 5.
Here.
Alyssa Cordell, Ward 6. Here.
Thank you, Julia. The first order of business, is to approve the council meeting minutes from our meeting on August 6th. Council, you've had an opportunity to look these over well in advance of tonight. If there are any changes, now would be the time to do that. If there are none, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And please note that I vote aye as well, since I need to be doing that tonight. So, Mr. Menino, if you will get us started off, we're going to have with Z2605, and just so folks that are here, there's going to be two public hearings tonight. One is going to be relative to the zoning, the proposed zoning, and one is to the proposed variances with that. Randy is going to present all the information here up front. We'll open up the public hearing relative to the zoning, and then after that, there'll be public hearing relative to the variances. Council does not vote tonight, and my job as mayor is to make sure that council gets as much information as possible in their hands so they can make a good decision. So, Mr. Menino, good evening to you, and get us started, please.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. First, I'd like to note the property has been properly posted and advertised. Appears to be no conflicts of interest, and it was reviewed based on the adopted standards for exercise of zoning powers. This particular case is located at 218 Industrial Park Road. The applicant is Data Bake Holdings. They are requesting to rezone approximately 67 acres from the heavy industrial zoning district to the T technology district for the development of a data center. It's actually a redevelopment. This particular lot currently has an old decommissioned facility on it, the old Lever Brothers Setco manufacturing facility site. Across the street, there's some other heavy industrial uses that are there. Gerdau Steel manufacturing facility is about 250 plus acres that's to the north and west of this particular request. In addition to the rezoning request from the heavy industrial to the technology district, they are asking for two concurrent variances. One is to a reduction in parking spaces down to 286 from the 1,000 plus that would be required based on industrial warehouse type use. Our zoning ordinance didn't take into account data centers when the parking standards were originally developed. It is a different type of use. It's something we may in the future may have to go back and take a look at. But with that, they did request that variance to make it more realistic to the actual use that is there. Additionally, the other request is to change the front building facade. Instead of it facing Industrial Park Road, it will be oriented off to the side. With that, it's my understanding that MEAG Power is currently performing or has recently completed a study to determine power supply and needs and transmission for this particular facility. Additionally, with the size of the proposed site, it went through the development of regional impact review, the state's process for notifying all surrounding local governments. Copy of that report is included in your package. And with that, Planning Commission did hold a public hearing. There were a couple of folks that did speak at that public hearing. We did have a concern about portable generation of power. We also had another concern from somebody down in the Ackworth area who was concerned about power demand on the grid. And after the public hearing, Planning Commission did sort through the data and did recommend approval. I believe it was 5-0 for the change of zoning from heavy industrial to the technology district and the subsequent variances. There was a condition that was recommended with that for it to be approved conceptually to the submitted data and site plan and elevations, and additionally include a closed loop water cooling system with that facility.
Thank you. Questions? Go ahead.
Mayor, before y'all start asking Randy questions, staff has discussed it, and we would also like to propose 2 additional conditions to be added to this. The first one would be the subject property's principal use shall be limited to data processing, storage, hosting, and related services, and accessory uses shall include principal uses listed as permitted uses in the Technology District Ordinance, which are associated with data processing, storage, hosting, and related services, as well as security and customary and accessory uses. The second one would be that no certificate of occupancy shall be issued for a data center until a letter providing that the electric power is available for the data center. Each building may be treated separately for this purpose, and each individual building may be subdivided for the provision of electric power. Now, that language was provided to the applicant tonight. They haven't had time to address that. I've informed the applicant that if we do go forward with those conditions, I'm more than happy to get their input on those and revise you, and may present slightly different ones at the second reading, but just to let y'all know that.
Thank you, Mr. Lovell. Yes,
Just
sir.
a clarification on Randy, basically, DataBank has submitted application to MEAG to do the study on generational needs. That has not been completed at this point in time. It's still, MEAG is going through their process. It's going to be, I think, probably 4 to 6 weeks, if not a little longer, for that, to them to get back with DataBank. So that has not been formally completed, but they
Thank
have made the application, and that is under basically MEAG's.
I think an important part, and correct me when I start misspeaking, but for those that may be here in interest of this, when it comes down to electrical capacity, there's not any of Cartersville's electric capacity is not going to be used on this data center or any other one in my mind, but so they're having to go out and find the source of the power that is going to come and power their building. It is not going to take any of what Cartersville's capacity is. None of our current capacity is going to be going to serve this data center.
The current capacity, Mayor, yes,
Yeah.
that's correct, because we may have future generation power that we may purchase on the market or somewhere else that would be part of this, but our current capacity is not going to be used to serve them.
Thank you. All right, any questions for Mr. Menino at this time? Thank you, sir. I'll open up the public hearing for the zoning portion of the public hearing for Z 26-05. The applicant is here and gets the opportunity to go first. And Mr. Lovell, did you want to go over any time rules that we just put in place? Since
Let me just ask a question. If you would, raise your hand if you're here to speak on or against this request. Okay. For anyone speaking against the request, you are limited to 3 minutes a person. For the applicant can have 10 minutes to speak themselves, and if they have other individuals, those individuals can use the remainder of the 30 minutes and 3-minute increments. And for purposes of this, the applicant speaker is Mr. Bowen.
And anybody that does speak, if you will please kindly give your name. I know most of you signed in out there, but if you'll give your name and your address so that our clerk can accurately put that into the minutes of the meeting. So we say thank you and let's go.
All right. One point I'd like to make. I am going to speak first for the applicant, but we also have Justin Puccio with DataBank, and he's probably going to speak longer than I am, so I'll
Okay.
try to be brief and turn
You
it
can do
over.
the 3 minutes, he can do the 10
Yeah.
minutes. There you
All
go.
right, so I'll speak fast. Ray and Bo in 15 South Public Square, Cartersville, Georgia. Happy to be here with you tonight. I've got the honor of representing DataBank in this application. I've also got Justin Puccio, who is the Executive Vice President of DataBank, and Craig McGahey, Project Manager. Justin will speak with you in just a moment. I don't plan for Craig to speak, but he can answer any questions that you all might have as far as technical matters. So they're here. This facility that you see is proposed as the 7th facility of DataBank in Georgia. The first one I think is pretty noteworthy was at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech partnered with DataBank to bring it here, and they have since progressed in the Northwest Georgia area, or the North Georgia area, and what you're looking at there is proposed to be the 7th, which would be in Cartersville by the Ameristeel plant. As Mr. Menino told you, this is a request, essentially a downzoning. The property is currently zoned heavy industrial. It is between a concrete plant and the steel plant. We're seeking to downzone the technology to allow for the data center development. In that regard, it is consistent with your comprehensive plan, and it would be a fitting for that area. Some key points I want to address, since we're talking about a data center, issues that come up a lot. You all just spoke to the power issue and the fact that MEAG is studying the power availability. We're talking about a requested max of 288 megawatts, which is a lot of power, but in the data center world, that's a moderate-sized data center. And the idea would be that if that amount of power is available, if MEAG is able to provide that, then it would be a ramp up. It wouldn't be on day one. It would be over several years of development of the site. The big issue that you hear a lot is water. So I want to address that. This is proposed as a closed loop. The expectation is it would use about 5,000 gallons of water a day, which, just to give you some examples, full-size backyard swimming pool is 28,000 gallons, so about a fifth of that. Because it's a closed loop, most of the water is not going to chill the facility. Most of it's going to toilets and things like that for the people who are working there. The other issue you hear a lot is noise.
Just as a point of clarity, there will be water usage to fill that closed-loop system at the very onset.
Right, and it would be filled as during the development process.
Right. Thank you.
Yep. Address the noise concern. As you all know, when we put the technology ordinance in place, we put a sound or noise ordinance in place to be protective of the city's citizens in that regard. In this case, I would point out, as Mr. Menino told you, I think there are not many residences in this area. I mean, it's in the middle of the city's industrial district. I think there are some, the nearest one's maybe half a mile or so, but that is on the far side of the Ameristeel plant. There are some that are not buffered by Ameristeel, but they're more in the 2/3 of a mile range. So no houses very close to this site. All right, so I'm using my 3 minutes, so I'm going to turn the floor over to Mr. Puccio, but I would like to reserve any extra time we have for rebuttal if needed.
You'll have full time for rebuttal. You don't need to reserve any.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have our slides? Excellent, great. Good evening, Justin Puccio, 22 Saddle Ridge Road, Pound Ridge, New York. It's a pleasure to be here. Nice seeing you all, everybody for joining this evening. We're very excited about our project here in Cartersville. If you could flip to the first slide, I'd love to dive right in and give a little bit of background on DataBank. Before jumping into that, I've been in the industry now for 26 years. At DataBank, I've been the Executive Vice President of Corporate Development for the past 10, running point on all things growth for the business, which includes acquisition of operating companies. In our first 5 years, that was our focus, to create the 25 market footprint that we have in the U.S. We have 70 data centers, and that is reflective of the past 5 years, where we've done more developments like this site, increasing our available sellable capacity in the existing market footprint that we have. Our customer base is an enterprise customer base. We work with banks so that you all can do electronic transactions and deposits on your phones, so that you can access medical records. We host HIPAA-compliant workloads. We work with educational institutions. I'll touch on Georgia Tech in a moment. Governmental institutions, and a lot of communications companies, fiber companies, wireless companies, all emergency services communications all route through our data centers throughout the U.S. At the bottom of this page here, I'd like to point out that we have a series of very savvy investors who all have very long-term view. These are folks who are pension funds, the largest Australian superannuated pension fund, Australian Super, TIA and Nuveen, the U.S.'s largest teacher's pension. These are the types of investors that we have, and we carry the weight of grandparents' annual pension dollars on our shoulders and doing what we do every day. On that note, we're not a flipper. DataBank is a real estate owner. We come in, we develop sites, and unlike some folks that you may have coming through the city looking to secure zoning and then on a prayer hope that Google, Microsoft, Amazon may come along and then they flip the site to them, that is not our intent. We build our sites and then we operate them. We're the customer, and we build these speculatively, knowing that we have enterprise workloads throughout our existing footprint, our existing customers who are looking to do more with us. So that's a very important thing that I want to stress, is that we're here to stay, and we're excited about Cartersville as our 7th site in Atlanta. If you could pivot to the next slide. We entered this market through a partnership with Georgia Tech. In Midtown, we built a high-performance compute data center in support of .edu workloads for research and for students to host all of their data, their educational resources online. And that has been a very successful site in the heart of Midtown. We then acquired 2 sites in the West End through the Z-Colo acquisition in 2020. And having done well with those 3 locations, we began developing new sites with our ATL4 site in South Fulton, and then our 5th and 6th data centers just a stone's throw away from that building. This would be our 7th site. You can see that it creates a constellation around the city. Our enterprise customers like having geographic diversity. So we're very excited about it. This size site is comparable to other locations that we have in our footprint, and again, it serves the exact type of enterprise workloads that we're looking for. This is not a AI factory. This is not a gigawatt scale campus. This is a good bite size for our customer and end user type. Moving to the next slide. This is some photos of our 120 megawatt facility. We have ATL 5 and 6. They're actually connected, but we developed this site working with Georgia Power for the substation that you can see in the lower right-hand corner. A comparable substation will be constructed on the site here in Cartersville, and that enables us to deliver power to customers' equipment inside of the data center. We don't touch our customers' equipment. We're effectively a technology real estate company providing space, power, and connectivity to our customers. Continuing on to the next slide. The existing site is a heavy industrial site surrounded by Gerdau, a large steel operation, a concrete plant across the street, a medical waste facility, and a packaging facility. The site today is not operational, and It is in various states of disrepair, depending upon which building you're walking through. So this would be a full scrape and rebuild, not using any of what you see on that site, and we would bring a two-building beauty out of the ground. So again, we're right in the heart of a heavy industrial use area. We're seeking to downgrade that from heavy industrial to technology. On the next slide, these are some images of the existing facility, and you can see that they're in various stages of disrepair. There's nothing happening currently in this site. They're decommissioning it, actually. So there is still a very modest amount of activity. And then on the next slide, so this is the site plan itself, showing on the right-hand side a switching station for the utility, and to above that, a databank-specific customer substation. To the left, you have two buildings where there would be equipment yards for mechanical plant, and then stormwater management, and a small building for administrative and storage. Brandon touched on it briefly, but again, the power that would be delivered to the site, we're working with MEAG. We submitted our power request through the City Council, who approved our application to submit to MEAG. They're in the process of analyzing how to bring the power to the site. We've been providing them these sorts of diagrams and a lot of other technical information for them to complete that. It's a multi-week process, and we've been working closely with them to try and accelerate that, but they do take their time, so we're at the behest of MEAG in responding to us. But again, as the mayor pointed out, this is 100% newly procured power to support our build. And then I'd like to also touch on the fact that it's a closed loop system from a cooling perspective. The water used, just to be clear, is at 5,000 gallons a day is very modest. That is for largely sanitary use and for our technicians who are showering in between shifts. It is not a water-cooled site that you may hear consumes millions of gallons of water. In California, the almond industry consumes 1.5 trillion gallons of water per year for almonds, for snacks. The data centers throughout the entire U.S. use less than 1.5% of that. California uses 1.5 trillion gallons per year. All data centers use less than 1.5% of that throughout the U.S. Let's see, what are the key points that I want to touch on? Noise, we are 100% compliant with the zoning obligations as it relates to decibel levels, and that is 65 decibels from 8 to 6, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., measured at the edge of the property, and then 55 decibels from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. It'll be staffed by approximately 70 full-time employees, but during construction, there will be many, many more jobs that will be trades, electrical, mechanical, plumbers, steel workers, all manner of the trades will help us construct the site.
That's your time, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Appreciate your time.
I do have one.
Yes.
The closed loop system.
Yes.
I understand 5,000 gallons a day.
Mm-hmm.
At any point, does it have to be completely refurbished again?
These systems that we put in place are 20 to 40-year systems. These are the depreciation lifespan of these long-term assets are very long in nature. It would be a very rare set of circumstances that it would cause that. The water loop itself is partially charged with glycol, so it's not even 100% water, and that is part of the cooling technology that's used. So does that answer the question?
Yes, so it's just a concept system.
Yes, it's,
Thank you.
Thank you.
anyone else?
I have one.
Yes, Mr. Cooley.
Did I understand you saying this is your 7th data center?
In Atlanta, we have 70 throughout the U.S.
Yeah, and with that being said, did you meet any resentment from the public in building these facilities? And if you did, how did you resolve them?
No, we have not. Atlanta's been a great market for us. There is anti-data center sentiment in certain pockets of the country, for certain. DataBank's done, like I said, we're not a flipper. We've been, long-term stalwart tenants in the cities where we've been operating for a long time. In Dallas, we've been there since 2005. We work closely with the communities. We do a lot in terms of STEM, education, and supporting the local communities. So we seek to, come into the city. We're here to tell you all about it and be open book. And, I think a lot of that resistance has been because there have been non-disclosure agreements signed with city councils and municipalities to try and be veiled about it, and we haven't done that. We're here to show you what we got and be happy to tour you around a site so that you can see it.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, this is the zoning portion of this application Z26-05. And again, anybody wishing to step forward to speak for or against may do so at this time.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Jason Barton. I live at 16 Terry Lane. So to give you an idea of how close that is, that's less than 2 miles away from the proposed area. I have some concerns, especially going through a lot of the notes that were given or made public. Researching some of the different things, I've noticed some inconsistencies from the company on the actual, at least the slides that we were given, which are not the current slides that are being shown. But the questions that I have are, I would like to know who are some of the construction companies that they're looking into? Are they around here? Saying that you're going to add tons and tons of jobs to the area only counts if the people in the area are actually working it. If they're pulling in people from Texas or from Atlanta to do the jobs, it's not affecting Cartersville at all, other than noise and construction. Another thing, some of the phrases that I didn't like was on page 37 of what was given to us. There are certain phrases that say things like, we don't have a choice on whether to build more data centers. Some of the other things are like, who's really driving the demand, they ask. And they go to say that the demand is actually being driven by everyone, not just data centers. They're also part of this as well. But also to go against that, Georgia Power, which was on set to retire Plant Bowen in 2028, has not only postponed that, they've actually added in gas turbine, natural gas turbine, specifically as stated specifically for the data center consumption of power. There's a lot of other things as well. We keep talking about the closed-loop water system. On the information that was available to me, a lot of that information is based off of Microsoft's closed-loop system, which apparently is very low to zero. My concern about what we have going on with the closed-loop system, where does the water go after it's done? It has to go somewhere. I haven't heard anything about any ways to mitigate or recycle or clean the water. So that's one of my many, many concerns. And I'm also concerned about the constant referral of being between two buffered industrial zones. That's great, but I'm scared that the noise ordinance is going to hide itself inside of there. I don't know what as they proposed in one of their links that I had to go find, it's roughly the conversation of someone 3 feet away at a normal talking voice. But that's not having a conversation. That would be like if I was screaming at a conversation tone for 8 hours a day.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. That's all I have
But
to
if
say.
if you can wrap up your thought, if you've got,
No, that's
Okay.
that's it. Basically, the last thing I have is, if you're headquartered in Dallas, Texas, how can you say that you're part of the community? Thank you.
thank you.
Brian Yogozinski, 8 Running Terrace Way. I live about a mile from the project. I'm glad to hear some of the stuff is being investigated, like the power. The power is a big issue. The state is going to be projected to be a little over 8 gigawatts short by 2031. They've got the approval, like Georgia Power's got approval to build 10 gigawatts. So they say this is 288, megawatts. It's not a lot, but in the shortfall of what's still got to be built out, that's only 3%, okay? So hearing that they've got to secure that power is very important because it's not there. The power is not there, and that's realized. Before I heard that the city was going to provide the power, right? I don't know who's going to provide the power now after.
I can tell you we are not.
All right.
Well, I say that, the capacity, it'll go through our infrastructure, but again, if we have
Okay.
however many megawatts we have, let's say we have 100 megawatts of capacity that's open right now, none of that is going to serve
And-
this facility. They've got to go out and find it, mark it, it'll come through us and then to them.
Because what happens is, if the power isn't there off of this grid, you're buying it wholesale, right? That means that who you're buying it from, most likely Georgia Power and Oglethorpe and the others in the area, they now have to go to other resources. So your wholesale rates now turn to retail rates, and that's when people's electric bills go up, unless you can segregate it and charge them solely the additional, right?
Our ratepayers are not going to subsidize their
Okay.
system, their power needs. The City of Cartersville currently has about 120 megawatts annually that we provide to all our customers, and their needs are not going to be subsidized by City of Cartersville residents.
I mean, I think this is all good, and a lot of good stuff is coming out, and I see the checks and balances coming in. That's very good. I don't know if anybody's looked at what this revenue is, okay? This data center running at 75% at your commercial rates, okay? Now, you're not for profit, but there's got to be profit, and the profit goes to city council. If it's a 5%, that's $10 million a year. Even if it's only 1%, that's $2 million a year. That is majorly outside of what a city normally does. So just beware that some people may say, did you look at this as a potential conflict of interest?
When you said, sir, the money goes to city council.
Well, with the city, to the,
To.
the city general fund. That's what I found, okay? So it goes to the city general fund. I'd call it profit, but it's a fund transfer, okay? And just be advised that if there's that much money, people are gonna be looking for, where is it going, okay?
In the community.
Oh, yeah, but where in the community, so, because they have a vested interest in that, okay? That's pretty much what I had. You had a question to him about the coolers, okay? That's my business. I do coolers, okay? I do coolers for generators. That all depends on how well somebody maintains the system, okay? I've got customers that their coolers crap out in 10 years, and they're coming back to buy me on a closed-loop system. I've got another customer that 40 years, they look like they're brand new. So that really all depends on their commitment to maintain their equipment.
It's time, sir.
Thank you for your comments.
Am I good to start? Hey, I'm Megan Humphreys. I'm at 126 Douglas Street, Murder House, and I have in my hand a computer. This computer used to fill entire floors in buildings. So my concern is, what are we going to do with all of these structures when their technology is moot?
You mean both of these structures?
Yes,
Okay.
the data structures. Technology is always evolving. We're going to be left with these buildings probably empty in no time because, again, it's changing. My concern is that the damage will have already been done, so it doesn't matter if, oh, good, we have someone else moving in. They are going to have to flush out their water. I want to know where it goes, same as Jason, and what actually is in it. And my other concern is that we've had data centers go into other communities and say they were going to do one thing and then they completely go the other way. Like Fayetteville had a data center that secretly hooked up a pipe to their water system, and residents started noticing water pressure dropping, and then the data center was found out and didn't seem that remorseful. So that's another concern. Additionally, whatever they're going to use to power this, if they're going to try to power it independently with gas or whatnot, I know that in Memphis, Elon Musk and his Grok data center have polluted the air. That's pretty close to residential neighborhoods, to the point that people can no longer open their windows during good weather. So spring and autumn, they still have to keep their windows shut because the air smells like sulfur. So they're basically, within a mile or two of that data center, and I would hate for that to happen here. Data centers also create a lot of heat, and that can be 3.4 degrees higher or up to 16 degrees higher, even if they're not hooked up to our utilities. My concern is, especially today, it was a heat index of 104. I mean, we could potentially be looking at something up into the teens, maybe even reaching the 20s, 120s that is, in terms of heat index. That could endanger people who work outside. That could endanger just animals trying to live their lives outside. That could potentially damage any people's crops that they might be growing, any hobby gardens, things like that. I think that's very concerning because they're not going to be able to keep up with the instant increase in heat. There was a comparison in water usage that I thought was interesting. They're saying that their water usage will be significantly less than what it will take for growing almonds. I find almonds delicious, but I cannot eat data. And so,
Time.
thank you.
Anyone else? We're on the zoning hearing for Z26-05.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Tori Pratt at 521 Alma Street. Just taking a few notes. First, has there been an environmental study done for the impact of low-frequency infrasound that doesn't necessarily show up in traditional decibel testing? There have been, a lot of information that has come out about health impacts on both humans and animals, and kind of the consensus is that at least within 3 miles, it's a very serious concern. Also, I think it's easy to share numbers that sound flashy but don't tell the full story. You're saying things like, less than 1%. It's so small compared to some of the bigger data centers, and I think that a salesman will say anything to sell you what they want to sell you. They'll say things that sound impressive, and personally, I'm not impressed. The comments about the pockets of dissent in the US against data centers, I read as, a ploy to create otherness. It's kind of a manipulation tactic of, the people here in Cartersville are much too reasonable to dissent against this wonderful thing that we're proposing. And then the whole us versus them, we're the good guys. We're the good guys data center. We're not like those other data centers. Like, I am personally very tentative to trust the word of anyone who uses something like that. There are facts, and then there are the emotional ploys and the emotional plays of, well, you know, we're better than those guys, therefore we must be good. The lesser of two evils is still evil. And the last thing that I have, there has absolutely been data center opposition in Atlanta for a long time. There have been many protests, the coverage of which has been provided by many news organizations. It's very easy to find information about those things. So I would just advise the council in this community to not feel like we are isolated if we choose to dissent and choose not to welcome this data center into our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for Z26-05?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. My name is Michael Roberts. I'm also at 521 Alma Street here in the town. I guess for a point of clarity, I work in technology. It's one of the things that I am very happy to work in, and I'm very happy to see that technology keeps advancing. Phones, like you mentioned, keep getting smaller, and our footprint on the environment should be getting smaller as well. But as we kind of discuss data centers, both this one and all across the U.S., it kind of quickly becomes a conversation on how reasonable the beast can be. Everything it would touch, from power to water to noise to the environment, everything is viewed in the sense of, well, it's not as bad as it could be. We're mitigating it in these ways. It's a closed loop system that only uses over 10 times the amount a house would, an entire community of houses could use in a day. And while I don't know the exact amount that it will use in the first place, as you had cited earlier, Mr. Mayor, I do know that these systems will change over time, depending on maintenance, depending on the scope of the technology change, which, unless I'm mistaken, if you're renting out the space in the data center to technology that someone else is putting there, kind of like a cloud enterprise environment, you aren't always regulating what that technology might be, what form it might take, how much power it might use might change in 5 or 10 years, but we're going to see that power and water and environmental impact immediately. There's nothing that's going to meter this out to the people in the area, and I'm going to live 2.5 miles from the place. If it was to be accepted, there's no doubt in my mind that it would be better than a building that's falling apart, but that isn't really the question. Again, we're kind of viewing it in the sense of, how reasonable can I be with this force that has so much momentum, this beast that can't really be caged because, well, it's coming. And that's the notice they'll send to people, is that it's coming and no one can stop it. It's perhaps not about stopping it, but you'll find that the sentiment is most definitely, well, we love technology and we want these wonderful things like fintech and the ability to use our phones for transactions. But not here, not in our community. And when everyone says that, suddenly they're pushed out further and further from the communities that have the strongest knit people. And now we're here in Cartersville, where we have a community that I think is very well knit. And while we may not be as perhaps influential as some of the other counties that these individuals and others like them are trying to create these new facilities, we have an opportunity to leverage the fact that we can come together and say, perhaps we don't want to be backed into a corner under the threat of it's coming anyway, and our system might be better in 10 years. Well, it sucks now, so we don't really have to deal with it in this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on Z26-05? Seeing none, I'll give the applicant the opportunity for a rebuttal. Is there a time limit on the rebuttal?
He has 16 minutes for rebuttal if he wishes to use it all.
I will not use it.
Feel free not to. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Try to answer some of the questions I heard. First question I heard was, is the construction going to go to locals? The construction would be bid out just as any construction project would. We've got a lot of great construction companies in Cartersville, and they'll have the opportunity to bid on it. I can't tell you who will build this one. I can tell you in regards to Switch, I have a number of friends that tell me how great working out there is because they're doing jobs out there. I would expect, well, I can say that local construction companies will have the opportunity to bid on it if they want. I can't say who will bid it, but they'll have the opportunity. Question about what happens in the event they have to recharge the system, the closed loop system, if the water has to come out or whatever. So that's a rare occasion, but if it does happen, then this water will be going to the county's sewer system. There's a pre-treatment process for that. We've discussed that, and I believe that the county commented that they were not concerned about it. Also, there are EPA and EPD regulations which we'll have to comply with if that's done. So that's just part of it.
Just for clarification, any discharge that would go into the system would meet EPA, EPD, and local regulations. Is that what you're saying to us?
Exactly. It's a soap factory right now, or closed down, but it has been a soap factory for many years with far higher usage rate. I talked to Lamont Kaiser, and even in decommissioning, their sewers rates are showing 80 to 100,000 gallons per day. So that's a fairly substantial amount of sewer, far more than what this facility will do in operation. Let's see, other questions. There was a concern about air pollution, and specifically a reference to Elon Musk's Grok facility. So that is using turbines to power, which are regulated as under the EPA. I don't know much about pollutant issues that facility has had, but it's a totally different technology than what DataBank is proposing. DataBank is proposing to get its power from the city through the MEAG plan, not using the turbines that Musk is using. Let's see. There was a comment. I think I should address this. The idea about the idea that computing technology gets smaller and smaller over time. That is a theorem that the gentleman who created Intel came up with, I believe, in the 60s, and it was true for a very long time. It's not true anymore. It's gotten so small that it can't continue to whatever, get much smaller every 18 months. What is different is we are creating so much more data than we ever have before. If you, as I did, read the newspaper on your phone this morning, you were using a data center. All right, if you used your banking records, we talked about that. If you did a Teams call or a Zoom call today, you used a data center. If you plan to go home tonight and watch Netflix, you'll be using a data center. All that data lives in data centers, and we need those if we're going to have that kind of technology. And it goes beyond that. I was watching the Today Show a few months back, and there was a article on some doctors at Johns Hopkins, I believe, that determined that by taking mammograms, early mammograms, like 10 years before they are normally taken of women, and then comparing those mammogram photos to all of the other women who have gotten mammograms over the years and their imagery, they can detect breast cancer 10 years before it is otherwise detectable. It's more accurate than using genetics or life history or life factors to determine if you're going to have breast cancer. Now, this article was not about data centers. It was about this new technology that it's come up with. But that is possible because of data center technology, AI technology, that is able to look at all those many hundreds and hundreds of thousands of photographs and make that comparison in a way that an individual never could. My point in saying that is that's not one thing. That is one thing. But there are millions of people who are coming up with great ideas, great things that they can do if they have a bunch of compute ability. And that's why we need data centers. So I will get off my soapbox now. If I have any other questions I can answer for you, I will try to do so. Questions?
I have one.
Mm-hmm.
Can you please explain to me the difference in this data center and AI center?
Sure. I think I can. So their technology, as Mr. Puccio told you, they have space that they rent out to enterprises, banks, hospitals, school systems, what have you, to be a storage point for that enterprise's programs, right? AI is different in that we normally see those being owned and operated, or at least operated, by the hyperscalers. And when I say hyperscaler, I mean Google, Amazon, Meta, those groups that are doing AI, OpenAI, Anthropic, those type entities. So those are data centers that use even more power than what we're talking about here, and they are fueling processes that allow people to, come up with solutions to harder and harder questions. That was probably a pretty poor explanation, but I was a history major, and I'm doing the best I can.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we've closed the public. We're going to have another public hearing. I'll worry about that. Did the applicant you had your hand up, sir, as one of the applicants. Did you need to add to the rebuttal?
Add to the rebuttal, if I may.
Yes, please, step forward.
Craig McGahee with DataBank, 400 Ackert Street, Dallas, Texas. Just 2 quick points. 2 quick points. Operationally, the staff on this proposed facility will be comprised of about 60 operational specialists, 12 security specialists. They're on site 24/7 in a scheduled way, 7 days a week. All the issues that were mentioned tonight, whether it's pollution, whether it's noise, whether it's any kind of objectionable pollution, any issue that happens from discharge are monitored vigorously and stringently by the operations team on place. DataBank has a skilled, similar operations team at every single one of its facilities. It'll have that here as well. Second point to just elaborate on your question about AI, the market segment that DataBank focuses on is the inference side of AI. Those are the application models that are relevant to our daily lives. The large gigawatt-size hyperscale facilities are based on the LLMs, 500 megawatts, a gigawatt plus. That's not the business that DataBank is in. Both are AI in a way, but it's the training, the long-term training is in the large hyperscale facilities. That's not what we're building, but it's the inference side, the applications that'll stand to meet our consumer compute needs over time. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to close the zoning application, the zoning portion public hearing for 2605. Mr. Lovell, if you'll start us off on the variance piece, would you please restate what those variances are?
Yes, the variances there are 2. One is to reduce the parking from the required number down to a lower number. Randy can give you the actual numbers. And the second is to change the orientation of the building from industrial park to the side of the building for the frontage. Okay. Those are the 2 variances.
Okay. And the conditions that we talked about, that's not part of...
The conditions
that's not part of this hearing.
Apply to the variance. The conditions would only apply to the zoning application.
Okay. Very good. So, all right, well, I will open up a public hearing for the variance portion of this request 2605. Again, the applicant has the opportunity to speak should they choose. And I will note for everybody that spoke on the zoning piece, anything that you said in the zoning hearing is going to be transferred to the variance piece. So there's, again, if you made a comment about something relative in that, it's all going into the same. It'll be duplicated inside that. So go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just very briefly, just to address the 2 variance requests. The parking that you see there is 280 odd parking spaces. Because the city's parking guidelines don't really contemplate data centers. If we followed the strict requirements, it would be 5 times, I think, 4 to 5 times as much parking. With 60 to 70 employees, there's just no need for that. And so this helps us better design the site and reduce a lot of impervious surface that won't be necessary. The second variance is dealing with the front facade, and as you can see, to make, as a matter of site design, it works better to have the front not on Industrial Park Drive, which is the road on the right, but internal, and that will allow for buffering of the facility along Industrial Park Drive. So that's the purpose for that variance request.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Any questions for Mr. Bowen at this time? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll open up a public hearing for the variance portion of the request Z26-05. Anybody wishing to stand up and speak may do so at this time.
Yes, I'd like to know where the collection site for the glycol is going to be, because you don't pour glycol down the drain. And one gentleman said there will be glycol in there. Glycol is something that is recycled. When I change my antifreeze in my car, it either...
Mayor, this is to address the variances.
Yeah. So the variances, are you going to put in a place to collect the glycol?
Parking and the orientation of the building.
Okay, I'll concede.
There will be a second reading. I was looking up the date when I had my phone earlier, September 3rd. I would never remember to write that down ahead of time. And you can add those comments then, or I'm sure you're certainly welcome to ask the applicant when we're done here to maybe clarify what their plan is. But I appreciate you. You did what you wanted to do. You got it on the record. Well done. Anyone else wishing to speak relative to the variance request for 26-05 may step forward and do so at this time.
I want to speak about something.
Is this relative to the variance of 2605?
Anything. I would like to say, my name is Greg Cordell. Y'all know my wife, Alyssa. I live at 917 North Tennessee Street. This is a great project. What concerns me is that no one has contacted the city council person who represents this area, the people that she represents. Not anybody has ever contacted her about her position on this. And I'm very disappointed that the fact is they don't even care about the people's opinion. I think it's a great idea. Put data centers where they belong. Industrial, it's already there. And that's what they should be doing. But the fact is, who's making all these decisions? Nobody is giving her an opportunity to voice her opinion, her thoughts concerning her people that she represents. So there's not much we can do about it right now. It's going to happen. So, with that being said, all the people that are bringing this, I guess, to action, to life, they should be talking to her or you. Maybe they are. I like that look on your eyes. But let me tell you something. They should be talking to the people that she represents. That's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Yeah. Y'all have a good night.
As a point of clarification, I will say that when you sit in a position to make a decision like this, I did meet with the applicants at the front end of this. It was before they put in an application. And I made it very clear to those three gentlemen sitting there that once an application was filed, that any conversations we had would happen in an open setting. Because I believe that if there is going to be a conversation, and if you are accountable to the people, and you do have to make a decision publicly, that the information that I receive from this point forward is a matter of public information, and that everybody in this room gets to hear what I'm hearing, as opposed to sitting down and having a backroom discussion of something that wouldn't be necessarily open to people. So every one of you here on council has a microphone and are welcome to speak anytime they want to. And they're welcome to ask staff of questions. A lot of times applicants will come they would want to talk to me when an application's in. I would tell them to direct any of their information to staff so that it can be directed to everybody on city council for them to consider that information as they work to make what they believe is the best decision for this community. So moving on with the variance request portion of 2605. Anybody wishing to get up and speak for or against those variance items? And hearing none, I'll close the variance portion of this request. We will have both a zoning hearing and a variance hearing on our next meeting at September 3rd. And then after that, council will take this up for consideration. I know a number of people were here specifically for this. You're welcome to stay and watch the rest of the meeting. But if not, I know you might have somewhere else you want to be. So if you're going to go, we're going to take maybe a couple minutes for you to quietly file out, or you're welcome to stay. Now's that uncomfortable silent time. All right, Mr. Wilson, if you will get us going with our next item, the LMIG Road Resurfacing Grant.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. Public Works is seeking permission for the mayor to sign the GDOT FY 2027 Local Maintenance Improvement Grant cover letter and any grant applications related to this document. We're proposing to resurface approximately 9.8 miles this year. This year, the FY 2027 LMIG grant amount is $394,971.96. And we previously accepted an LRA grant also from GDOT in the amount of $401,870.31. The estimated total cost of resurfacing these 9.8 miles is around $2.7 million. In addition to the grant amounts, up to approximately $1 million will come from the 2020 SPOST, and $1,438,350 from the 2026 SPOST, and $275,350 from the general fund. This grant that we're applying for requires 30% local match, and this is budgeted. We recommend approval of this grant application.
Thank you. Any questions for Wade on this item? If there's not, Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously as I vote in the affirmative as well. As Mr. Greer is bringing him, as he's approaching the podium, I'm going to ask council to add 2 items to the agenda, please.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Those items are added. Good evening, Mr. Greer. How are you?
Good evening,
Good.
Mayor and Council. This item is a request for the purchase of 7 network video servers for our WiseNet camera system. This is the camera system that we use for surveillance throughout the city facilities. It's replacing 7-year-old video servers that we have currently. Total is $241,345 from Telenet Systems, and this is a budgeted 2026 SPOST item, and we ask for your approval.
Thank you. Any questions on this item? If not, Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote in the affirmative as well. It passes unanimously. Thank you, sir. Chief Cloninger. Good evening to you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm requesting approval to pay fiscal year 27's bill to Utility Associates Incorporated, which is the company that supplies our body cameras, in-car cameras, 24-hour support and maintenance, and they host all of our videos and electronic evidence in cloud storage. The annual bill for this is $95,315, and it is a budgeted item.
Thank you. Questions for Chief on this? If not, Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
I'll vote in the affirmative. Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Lovell, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Can I make a motion too, or do I just get to vote?
You may make a motion, sir.
How about that? All right, thrilled. All right. Yeah, I know I will be, trust me. Next item, Chief.
Next item is we're requesting approval to purchase a police K-9 from Hurricane Creek K-9, which is local here to North Georgia. And it's going to be a part of our new crime suppression unit. In addition to purchasing the K-9, we'll need to purchase a kennel and equip one of our existing patrol vehicles with a kennel with a heat alarm sensor for the dog for the animal safety. As part of the purchase from Hurricane Creek, they have agreed to train and certify one of our officers free of charge with the purchase of the dog. At the end of this 4-week school, the canine handler and dog will be National Narcotic Detection Dog Association certified, and the cost of that certification is an additional $50. So the total cost of the project purchase would be the single-purpose K-9 would be $12,500. The upfitting equipment for one of our existing vehicles, the K-9 kennel with the heat sensor, ranges somewhere approximately between $7,000 and $9,000. And of course, the certification, as I said, would be $50. So total cost of the purchase for the project would not exceed $22,000. It's not a budgeted item, but if approved, we could purchase these items through federal asset forfeiture funding.
Thank you. Questions for Chief? If not, Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
I'll vote in the affirmative as well. Motion carries unanimously.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
More than that.
Tim, before you come up, is there anybody here that is here for the millage rate hearings? With council's permission, I'm not gonna ask your permission. Tim, have a seat. I'm gonna skip ahead to the bottom of the agenda to handle items 23, 24, and 25. Since there are at least a few people in the room that are here for that, we're gonna do that. And so I'll call on Ms. DeSanto, if you would, please present the Cartersville Business Improvement District millage rate.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for being flexible and leaping into action.
No, absolutely. Thank you, sir. The Cartersville Business Improvement District is made up of the downtown Cartersville Business District. These business owners have been self-assessing property tax for many years to raise funds for use in the downtown area. The Downtown Development Authority works with local businesses to use these funds in order to improve the downtown area. The DDA board has requested City Council to approve their recommended bids property tax millage of .663 mils for 2026. This is the rollback rate, which results in no tax increase, and I recommend approving the Cartersville Business Improvement District property tax millage rate of .663 mils for 2026.
Thank you. Any questions for Diana right now? I'll ask you to step aside so we can do a public hearing. In the event that there's a rush to the front, we don't want you to get trampled. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this bid district millage rate may step forward and do so at this time. And seeing none, I will close the public hearing for the Cartersville bid millage rate, and I will turn it over to council for consideration.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote aye as well. Motion carries unanimously. Now the Cartersville M&O, the management and operation millage rate, to be set at 2.162.
Yes, sir, and this is very exciting for me. And my 20-plus years of service, this is my first time getting to be a part of a millage reduction. So this is an exciting moment for me. So,
Glad we can make that happen for you.
Yes. The property taxes received from the Cartersville M&O property tax collections are used for the general city government operations, which includes police, fire, as well as recreation, public works. The proposed 2026 millage rate is at 2.162 mils, which is a reduction of 0.5 mils from the 2025 millage rate. And oftentimes in our advertising, we are required to publish what this would mean for a property owner. So I tried to do the inverse in this case. So for a homeowner with a fair market value of $400,000, this is approximately $80 a year in savings. And I do recommend approval of this 2.162 millage rate.
Thank you. Questions on this item for Diana? I'll open up a public hearing for the Cartersville millage rate to be set at 2.162. Anybody wishing to speak on the topic may do so at this time. And I will close the public hearing for that. I will simply say this is something that council that we're able to do because of the economic growth that we've experienced, and also because the city, from the city manager's office through the departments to everybody that goes about doing their job every day, does value the public tax dollars that we operate off of. And so when you try to operate as efficiently as you can, everybody could be a little bit more efficient. I think that's a true statement. But the fact that we're able to take this measure and provide some relief for everybody that's in the city limits is a good thing for us. And like I said, it doesn't happen just because people vote on it. There's a lot of great factors that go into that. And so I want to give the acknowledgement of that as well. So that being said, I'll make the motion to set the Cartersville City millage rate at 2.162. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the motion carries unanimously. And now the Cartersville City School System millage rate at 14.5 mils.
Yes, sir, and this is listed in the public hearing section, but I have some information to read because the Cartersville School System has already advertised and held their public hearings. The Cartersville City School System has recommended to their board to adopt the millage rate of 14.5 mils for 2026. The rollback rate is 14.024 mils. As a result, the rate of 14.5 mils is considered to be a property tax increase of 3.39% over the rollback rate. The proposed tax increase for a homeowner with a fair market value of $400,000 is approximately $76.16, and the proposed tax increase for a non-homestead property with a fair market value of $500,000 is approximately $95.20. Furthermore, the school system is required to hold 3 public hearings for the citizens to voice their opinions regarding the proposed property tax increase. The first public hearing was held on Thursday, August 6th at 12 p.m. The second public hearing was held on August 6th at 6:30 p.m., and the third public hearing was held on August 10th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. The City of Cartersville Board of Education approved the 14.5 millage rate at their regular meeting held Monday, August 10th at 6 p.m. The City Council approves the school board's recommended tax millage rate for city residents where all property taxes are collected and used by Cartersville City School System. I recommend approval of the Cartersville City School System property tax millage rate of 14.5 mils for 2026.
Thank you. Questions for Diana right now on this? Thank you. Well, I don't have to, but I'm going to open up a public hearing on the millage rate if anybody'd like to speak on that. And seeing none, I'll close it. And surprise of surprises, I got a comment. I know, like the city, our school system does a fantastic job of facing the challenges and after looking after every single dollar. Their sources of revenue are different than ours. And while it has to be published as a tax increase because they're able to take advantage of our growth and the growing needs and the need for, again, not being able to roll back or taking the privilege of not rolling back while there's been senior tax exemptions and other things brought in. I don't like to speak for the superintendent who's in the room, but I know fairly certain he would love to give you a 5 mil tax, 5 mil break on your property taxes, but that's withheld by the state that withholds that from our system, and it goes down to be distributed in other systems. So if you'd like to see your millage rate go down maybe 5 points, maybe take that up with the state, and maybe they could do something differently instead of taking it from some communities while they're beating us over the head over property taxes. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the Cartersville City Schools millage rate at 14.5.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 And I'll vote in the affirmative, and it passes unanimously. Mr. Story, you get to follow that. Good evening to you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Good evening. The Electric Department is requesting approval to purchase a 27 F600 chassis 4x4. This vehicle will replace the department's 2004 F750 dump bed and a 2015 F550 dump bed brush truck. Staff recommends authorization to purchase this vehicle from Hardy Family Ford through the Georgia statewide contract in the amount of $71,230. This is a budgeted expense.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 And I'll vote aye as well. That motion carries unanimously. Next item, please, Tim.
Thank you, Mayor. The Electric Department is requesting approval to purchase a custom 12-foot dump bed with fold-down and removable sides for the F600 truck recently approved. Staff recommends authorization to purchase this dump bed from Walmart Truck Body Incorporated as the sole bidder in the amount of $27,075. This is a budgeted expense as well.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And the motion carries unanimously. One last thing, Tim, as you head out the door tonight. Do you know how to run that thermostat over there?
It's broke.
Huh?
It's broke.
It's broke? Oh,
Dixon's done tried.
okay. Well, get out there in your vehicle and enjoy some good air conditioning, because it sure as heck ain't happening in here. Mr. Dixon, good evening to you.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'll try to make it quick. Gas system advertised for bids for the relocation of 1,500 feet of 12-inch main along U.S. Highway 411 that was in conflict with the racetrack fuel station project. 6 sealed bids were received, and Southern Pipeline LLC of Madison, Georgia submitted the lowest bid of $215,091.40. This is not a budgeted item, but the city will be reimbursed by the developer, and council's approval to award this contract is recommended.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously along with my vote. Next item. Oh, you're done. Mr. Forsyth, good evening to you. That was quick.
Good evening, sir. My first item is water meter purchase. We're requesting approval to purchase a half a pallet of Census Ally smart meters. These are specialty meters which also gather pressure information. It's it's exactly 102 meters that will be deployed throughout our water distribution system. And you can see the graphic on the screen there. Included in the purchase of these meters and smart points is also the support to provide that graphic for our system so we can better analyze the data that we gather within our system. The price for these meters and smart points is $71,088 from Kendall Supply, our AMI meter sole provider. It is a budgeted purchase. I recommend for your approval.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I'll vote in the affirmative. Motion carries. Disc plow purchase, please.
Yes, sir. We currently own an old disc plow for the biosolids recovery farm. The 500 acres that the city operates to manage our biosolids coming out of the wastewater plant. The current plow is unrepairable. Like I said earlier, it's of indeterminate age. We don't know how old it is. We budgeted for a replacement plow. The best bid is from Rome Plow based on meeting specifications, the only bid to meet specifications, for $43,610. It is a budgeted expense. I recommend for your approval.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 And I'll vote in the affirmative. Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Mr. Morgan, good evening to you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. We're requesting approval to purchase a tree from Display Sales in the amount of $22,965. It's a replacement for the Christmas tree that we place out each area over in Friendship Plaza area, and we're just asking for your approval to move forward with that.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I'll vote in the affirmative. Motion carries unanimously. Next item, please.
Thank you, sir. This is an invoice from Equipment Controls. It is for the R&I and analytics that we utilize for our census meters that we have electric, water, and gas. It is in the amount of $131,326.85. Customer service and the utilities use this every day in support of customers' billing and also maintenance of our AMI system.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 I vote in the affirmative. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
you.
While Chief Champion is making his way up, Council, I erred. We were supposed to add 3 items to the agenda. I'd like to add that third item, that additional item at this time. So I need a motion to do that.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
One additional item added as I vote in the affirmative for that. Chief Champion, good evening to you.
Good evening, Mayor. This is a request for 3 Chevy 1500 pickup trucks for our Fire Marshal's Division. This has been through state contract through Hardy Chevrolet in Dallas, Georgia. This will include the upfit for lighting and storage for security of cameras and other items that they maintain. This is a budgeted item for $198,657.49.
Thank you. Questions for the chief on this? If not, Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 And I will vote in the affirmative too. Motion carries unanimously. And now one of the added items, if you'll give that to us, Chief.
Yes, Mayor. This is a request for approval of the replacement of 2 JACEs, which is part of the automation system on the HVAC at Public Safety Headquarters. CMS Controls came out and evaluated the system and determined that they were both faulty. This upgrade requires to be made just to have HVAC in the building. This total of $29,623, and it is not a budgeted item, but part of the HVAC maintenance plan.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, we don't have one of those here. We might be having our meetings over at the Public Safety Headquarters, is what it
It's
sounds
much
like.
cooler now, so.
If there's no other questions or smart aleck comments, Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 And I'll vote aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Chief. Mr. Porter, you've got the forklift purchase.
Yes, sir. It's an electric forklift for our warehouse facility off Old Mill Road. I recommend for your approval. It's coming in at 26 plus SPOS funds, $58,426.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye, and the motion carries unanimously. Good evening, Mr. Archer.
This is for approval of the quote from Ace Aquatics Consulting and Equipment to replaster the Senior Aquatic Center. The project will consist of replaster as well as replacement of missing tiles. We received 3 bids for this project, including Latitude Blue, Adventure Pools, and Ace Aquatics was the lowest and best proposal with a total of $31,550. This is a budgeted item, and we recommend approval.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 I'll vote aye. The motion carries unanimously. Next item, please, for you, David.
Okay, we're looking to get approval of agreements of independent contractors for programming for Cartersville Parks and Recreation. Briefly, those agreements are for youth football referees, which is something that we've kind of trended towards with referee associations. It'll be good for us, along with agreements for Zumba and line dancing classes at the new rec center when it opens up in October.
Thank you for that. Any questions?
Will this be your first time contracting referees and officials?
For youth football, yes. We have contracts with basketball and baseball and softball, and those have gone very well.
Good.
Anything that gets you out of the recruiting and maintenance of
Exactly.
officials, I think is a
Exactly.
really good move for you. Yeah, I know it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Know about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 And the motion carries unanimous. I'll vote yes on that as well. Thank you. Mr. Wilson, you're back up. It's been a while.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, Council, Facilities has been notified to come by in the morning to check the air conditioner, so sorry about that. On July 1st of 2026, the city entered in a contract with THC Incorporated to provide right-of-way acquisitions for the Douthit Ferry project. This agreement identified valuation services, associated fees as additional services that were not included in the original contract. As THC began the acquisition process and it was reviewed, additional work was required. They are proposing to do this work for $287,900. Approval of this THC's August 14, 2026 fee proposal in the amount of $287,900. We are asking approval to, we are recommending approval of that contract to continue this project forward. This will be funded from the 2020 SPLOST.
And once we approve this, do they begin the process?
They're essentially already have beginning the process, but there's additional evaluations that have to be done.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, the chair will entertain a motion.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. I'll vote for that as well. City Hall project, welcome back, Freddie.
Yes, sir. Yes.
We missed you.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. This is an AIA change order for the City Hall project. It's essentially adding 35 days to the end of the project because of architectural and civil delays. Hogan requested this, and after evaluation, we agree.
Okay, thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote in the affirmative. Motion carries unanimously. Next item, please, Freddie.
Yes, sir. This is an additional services request for the City Hall site plan revisions. This will include architectural and engineering services. We're asking for approval of this document, subject to final approval by the city manager and the city attorney. It is with Croft Architects.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is that pending the approval of the?
Pending the approval.
City manager, city attorney. Thank you.
That- Your second holds. Thank you. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next
We got
item
one
is a
more.
request to move forward with a GTIB Airport Hangar Grant Loan Application. This is for the work that we're doing on Southwest Apron, to look at the Southwest Apron Corporate Hangar Project. We're looking to move forward with the estimate cost of this project of $2 million, $2,010,600. The city of Cartersville would contribute a local match of $502,650, which we would split within the governmental agreement with, if it's successful, with Bartow County. We're asking your permission to move forward with this.
Thank you. Questions for Freddie on this? If not, chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. Motion carries unanimously. And then
Thank
that added item that you had, please, Mr. Morgan.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. It was for the CPD firing range. We're moving forward and having good success as we move forward, but there was one additional change order that we have for the site. It's in the amount of $602,878.53. This does include a $200,000 contingency, and this agreement will be subject to final approval by the city manager and city attorney. But we hope with the site and all the other things we've gone through with this will get us home.
That'd be nice. So this motion would need to include pending approval of the city manager and city attorney. So chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve pending the approval of the city manager and city attorney. Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Freddie.
Thank you.
Chief Champion, you're back up, please.
Yes, Mayor, this is a resolution from Bartow County that incorporates the updated Bartow County Hazard Mitigation Plan. We conducted that at the first of this year, finalizing by the Commissioner on June the 3rd. This puts us in compliance with GEMA and FEMA, as well as our local EMA. If we have any large-scale incidents, this remains eligible for Stafford Act assistance as well, and it's requesting your signature along with city clerks.
Thank you. Questions for Chief on this item? If not, chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Motion carries unanimously. Before you come up, Ms. DeSanto, we had one other added item. Mr. Lovell, can you just get that out of the way for us?
Yes, as a result of mediation, the insurance company is going to recommend a settlement agreement on one of our employment claims. It is recommended that y'all approve that settlement, subject to final approval by the city manager and city attorney with respect to the terms and conditions which are being finalized.
All right. Thank you. Any discussion? If not, chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to pass, subject to city manager and the attorney's approval.
Thank you.
Second.
And I've got a motion, a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote aye as well. Motion carries unanimously. We saved the best for last, right?
So,
Good evening.
good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight I will briefly review our unaudited June 2026 financial results. Citywide, revenues totaled $234 million and expenses totaled $301 million, resulting in a net loss of about $67 million for the year. This is expected and primarily driven by our major capital projects. Our unrestricted cash position remains strong at $189.9 million. The general fund continues to perform well operationally. We ended June with $26.4 million in unrestricted cash and a net loss of $19.6 million due to our ongoing capital investments. These include the new recreation center, Matthew Hill Park, Dellinger Park improvements, City Hall construction, 3 new fire trucks, as well as our firing range. Loss collections remained strong at $8.9 million, which was above our budget projections, and building permit revenue also remained healthy at $794,000. The Water and Sewer Fund reflects a significant capital construction activity. The fund shows a net loss of $64.5 million, and this is driven by the water treatment plant expansion, now at $30.5 million in expenses, and the wastewater plant expansion and design work totaling $46.4 million for the year. Despite these planned investments, our unrestricted cash remains strong at $75 million. Our gas fund continues to outperform expectations. In June, with a net profit of $14.3 million and $58.4 million in unrestricted cash. Our revenues reached $57.7 million, well above budget, and this was largely due to a new industrial customer that increased our transport fees by $3.29 million and our industrial process revenues by $5.67 million. The electric fund reported a net profit of $1.7 million and holds $24.6 million in unrestricted cash. Revenues decreased by $1.5 million from June of 2025, increased from June of 2025, and this was due in part from gains in our investment accounts, while expenses decreased by $1.7 million, and this was a lower purchasing cost from June of 2025. Stormwater ended June with a net profit of $126,000, while solid waste was $678,000 net profit, and our fiber optics showed a small net loss of $49,000, and this was primarily due to our capital upgrades and fiber system. All 3 funds remain stable operationally. Our 2020 SPLOST balance ended cash at $18.3 million, and our new 2026 SPLOST fund continues to grow, reaching $1.55 million. Overall, the city maintains a strong financial position, and the decreases in net position across several funds are tied directly to capital planned investments rather than any type of operational performance. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions for Diana? Thank you. Comments?
I would just like to echo what Diane mentioned. We plan for the new investments in our community, the Matthew Hill Park renovation, the new recreation center, the new city hall. We did not spend the reserves without planning for that in the future. I just want to remind the public of that. We actually budgeted $32 million in reserves being used in the general fund last fiscal year. We only used $19.6 million of that. That means we came in stronger than anticipated because of that, even though we did those capital projects. The same thing applies in the water and wastewater. We are planning for the future with our systems of both the water and wastewater. We plan on using reserves and actually borrowed less money on our revenue bonds to basically have a savings in the future for our residents, our ratepayers and all. So I just remind the public that we are frugal, we spend wisely, we look at our tax dollars and we spend them very wisely. Mayor and council, even on the taxes, property taxes going down $500,000, and the voters will be going here to the vote in November to raise their homestead exemption to $100,000. Again, looking at the homestead, the owners, the residents in the city of Cartersville, and planning for the future where these tax dollars are spent wisely.
Thank you. Any other business that needs to come before council tonight? Good. Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Stay gold.